Hello, Guitar One. Just want to make a quick video for a review of Midterm 2 Guitar One, which will be our next class. I did email a review sheet to everybody. I'm looking it over here. There are 4 sections. Notation. Students are responsible for all information in the Hal Leonard note reading text through page 28. So besides note conversion, which I'll address in a minute, students need to be able to identify quarter, half, dotted half, and whole notes, pickup notes, know what a pickup measure is. Again, this is all on the review sheet. Be able to identify a tie, sharps and their function, key signatures, rests, measure lines, repeat signs, and the rest, when I say rest, you should know the quarter, half, and whole note rests and what they look like. And then for note conversion, you should be able to take any note from our first position scale off of the guitar and put it on the staff, or take tablature, either a picture of the fretboard, we call it chord tablature in class, picture of the fretboard, and we did this in a review a couple weeks ago. I give you a note that's drawn in on the box diagram of the neck, and you convert it into a note on the staff. You actually draw the note, the correct pitch too. We also did the tablature with 6 lines going from left to right. I'll have a short example of a song that will need to be converted from notation into tablature. As in chapter 4, Distler. So those exercises. If you want some practice there, I highly recommend doing and working on the extra credit, which is at the end of chapter 4 in that handout I gave you. If you do a few lines of conversion from notes to tablature and a line or 2 of converting tablature into notation, you should be ready to go. Again, a reminder, you should know all the theory that we have up to page 28 in Hal Leonard, including the function of sharps and rests, what they look like, etc., time signatures, measure lines, counting measures, and things like that, and being able to count rhythms. So that's section 1 of the test. Section 2 has memorized chords. Again, these are listed on the review. E minor, A minor, D, D7, A7, G, and C. You need to be able to identify a chord from the picture and then be able to mark the correct root string. Remember, the root string is the lowest string played. If you look at page 47 in the Hal Leonard book, you'll see the X's on the strings that are not to be played, and the lowest sounding string is always the root or the letter name of the chord, meaning it is the letter name of the chord. So you need to be able to look at the picture and identify that string as the root string, the lowest one, okay, lowest in sound. Put the fingering in for the chord, and again, either be able to draw the chord. If I give you the name of the chord, you draw it in, or if I give you the picture of the chord, you need to be able to name that chord. I have 7 chords: E minor, A minor, D, D7, A7, G, and C, and that is on the review sheet. With some suggestions of how you can practice that. I did do a review in the class, and I know several of you were not there, so I wanted to make sure, again, I went over this briefly with you. Charts, know the basic elements. That's from Distler, page 44. That is in the back of the chapter 5 handout, which I believe you all have. It's 5 and 6. There's chapters 5 and 6 in that handout. And you need to know the 3 basic elements of a simple chord chart when there are some shown at the end of the chapter there on pages 44 and 45. The 3 elements are the time signature, measure lines, and the chord symbols. So I'm going to show you a picture of a chord chart, and you should be able to tell me the time signature, how many measures are in there, identify the chord symbols if asked for, or maybe how many times you're playing a particular chord. If you play once per beat, which is what's going to be suggested, once per beat, if you have 2 measures of an E minor chord, that would be strumming that chord 8 actual times. So whatever the time signature is, you're strumming that many beats in that measure. And if there's multiple measures, you would, of course, do 4 more, 4 more, 4 more of that chord. The chords do not change unless there's a new chord symbol. So if I have E minor and then another measure with no chord listed, the E minor chord continues, okay? And one thing I didn't mention in class tonight that is going to definitely be on the test is the major scales. You should know the whole and half pattern of a major scale: whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. And you should be able to spell a C scale: C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Spell a G scale: G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. And to spell an F scale: F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F. You also should be able to fill in the fretboard chart based on the based on the fretboard chart diagram that we used in class, which means I'm going to ask you to do 1 octave of C or 2 octaves of G or F. So there should be 2 complete F scales or 2 complete G scales. If you only write half of it, you'll only get half credit. Feel free to email me with any questions. And again, I sent out a review sheet to all of you, and I also put D2L, link D2L to the video as well as the review sheet. So thanks a lot. See you next week. Don't miss the test, and I'll see you then.